The only local news teams taking action for you. KIMA KEPR Action News starts now.
Coming up this morning on Action News, we talked the sixth fire to spark in our area since the weekend. This one in Franklin County, north of Pasco. So far, 200 acres are torched, and it's a majority contained, though those who live in the area are being told to be ready to evacuate. We'll get you up to speed on that and the other fires that left burn scars in Yakima County. Plus, a Benson County campground is now closed for the season. Issues have been overwhelming staff over the last few years, and that have gotten worse. Officials say it's stopping the staff's ability to provide a safe place. We'll fill you in. And we'll talk the finalists for the Yakima city manager position. City Council dwindling the number down from 7 to 3 in a special session yesterday, though it's taken 5.5 months to get this far. We'll tell you when the final interviews are scheduled. That story and more coming up as you start your day with us right here on Action News. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Dave Furtado.
And I'm meteorologist Jefferson Donovan.
And Jefferson, actually, I think that Franklin County fire might be the 7th fire to spark since the weekend. So I'll have to crunch the numbers a little bit here as the show continues. But let's kind of talk about that wind yesterday. It was really making it harder for firefighters to get a hold and get a handle on some of these fires, even for helicopters to drop some water. So kind of walk me through what we're expecting today. That wind hopefully dying down?
Yeah, we're not going to be looking at the wind today. It's going to be a fairly light wind day. Temperatures are still going to be fairly pleasant in the 70s as opposed to high heat. Now, as we get towards the end of the week, that is when daytime highs really shoot up, as we could see highs back to the mid to upper 90s. But for the time being, for today, it is just going to be a sunny and pleasant day. We're starting off with mostly clear skies in Pasco this morning. It's 52 degrees underneath those clear skies with just a light breeze. Here is a look at your weather headlines for the day. It is going to be a sunny sky and pleasant day for this Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, that's when temperatures really start warming up, and then that high heat that I was referencing will be arriving on Friday and continuing into Saturday. We'll talk more in depth about all three of these weather headlines coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. We begin this morning near Pasco. We continue to be in the high danger category for brush fires. Crews from Franklin County and surrounding areas are battling this fire on Columbia River Road, and Fur Road north of Pasco. It's a rural area basically across the river from the Hanford site. Now, it started just after noon yesterday. At least 6 homes were threatened. People who live there were told to be ready to evacuate, but so far that hasn't been necessary. Fire crews have rallied resources, and so far there's no word of any structure damage. Fire leaders say about 200 acres have been burned and the fire is about 80% contained. A helicopter from the Department of Natural Resources has been dropping water, but the windy conditions are making the firefight difficult. And over the weekend, we saw an abundance of fires across Yakima County, which burnt thousands of acres and created multiple evacuation warnings. KIMA's Austin Peppers recaps the fires and what information we've learned since.
Over the weekend, Yakima County was hit with numerous fires. The biggest of them all was a fire that broke out Saturday near the 5600 block of Beam Road near Zilla. As of Sunday night, the fire burnt 8,542 acres and was 42% contained. The Oregon-Washington Bureau of Land Management wasn't able to do an interview, but when I spoke to them Monday morning, they told me they are getting better mapping of the fire and the containment percentage could increase dramatically. Crews will continue to work the fire and monitor it throughout the week. It's possible by the end of Tuesday that the fire will drop from a Type 3 management team to a Type 4. Everything stated earlier will also depend on weather conditions. That same day, a fire broke out near the intersection of North Camas Road and Industrial Park Road near Wapato, which BLM confirmed burnt about 73 acres. Evacuations were put in place near the area. Reports say that fire also jumped Donald Wapato Road and burned east of it. Crews will continue to work on the fire, and one house was damaged in the blaze. An additional fire burnt near the Yakima Training Center as well. They confirmed the fire burnt from approximately 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. The fire was 250 acres and is now fully contained. Another fire that is fully contained is the one near Harlan Landing just outside Sela. Sela Fire tells me it burnt approximately 10 acres, and crews are monitoring and keeping an eye on it. The scene will continue to produce smoke, and they still ask to not call 911 for smoke in that specific area. Reporting in Yakima County, Austin Peppers, Action News.
KIMA's Austin Peppers, thank you. And a smaller fire possibly started by a child was reported yesterday around 1 p.m. in the Grandview area near Loomis Road. About 10 acres burned there, but Yakima County Fire District 5 had the blaze contained quickly. Although there were local power losses, all homes have been reconnected. And with the amount of wildfires in the area, people have been getting evacuation alerts. But what does each level mean, and what action should you take? KIMA's John Franklin has the answer.
Another day, another fire has broken out.
We've been covering these a lot lately, but
We're actually close to buildings here, so you'd imagine some sort of evacuations may happen if this fire continues to come towards the buildings.
Now, there has been a level 3 evacuation ordered.
Evacuations could happen at any time during fire season. They come in 3 levels. Level 1.
Just alerting everybody in that area that there's a hazard such as a fire or a flood going on. Not impacting yet, but just be aware there is something going on in their area.
Level 2.
The fire's getting a little closer, or the hazard. So what that means is be ready to go, have your things packed up, anything you need to take with you in case you do have to leave immediately, have that prepared to go.
And level 3.
3 is go now, imminent danger. We need you to leave as soon as possible.
The levels are determined with the incident commander at the scene.
If the fire's moving fast and we're unable to catch up to it, we are going to send out a level 3 as soon as possible, because we've already had people out and out of the danger before it gets there.
If you do have to evacuate, Miller says to keep updated with the situation using social media, as the Emergency Management Department will work with the Red Cross to set up a shelter area and share it on social media. Some situations are so dangerous that it's better for people to shelter in place.
If we have like a hazmat situation somewhere where there's a release of some chemical or something, at times it's better to just have people stay in their house. They're better protected than going outside and possibly being exposed.
Reporting in Yakima for Action News, I'm John Franklin.
KIMA's John Franklin, thank you. And it is important to note that some emergencies can start out at level 3 instead of progressing through the levels. Miller said it's important to know how to pack your important items quickly in case that happens. A Benton County campground is now closed for the season after ongoing issues overwhelming staff over the last few years. Individual and drop-in camping at Horn Rapids Park is closed effective yesterday. Benton County Park leaders tell us this is due to ongoing vandalism, transients, and folks simply not paying for a spot. Benton County leaders say these problems have become aggressively worse over the last few years, and they say the issues have overburdened this park staff's ability to provide a safe and pleasant place for campers. Group reservations for the campground will remain open, and leaders say they're working to fix these problems to reopen for the 2025 season. The farmers market in Kennewick is offering folks who use SNAP a way to get more fresh fruits and veggies every week. The farmers market at the Columbia River Warehouse near downtown Kennewick takes place Thursday evenings from 4 to 7 p.m. And they're now offering a SNAP Market Match program, which means when you swipe your SNAP card at the farmers market, they'll match up to $25 per week to spend on fresh foods. Now, Jefferson, let's talk weather here, because we've gotten quite a bit of wind hanging out, especially yesterday. It was definitely windy. You could feel it driving on the roads even. And for firefighters, that wind is not helping them play ball when it comes to these fires.
Yeah, that certainly did not aid anything. In fact, we talked about that fire in Franklin County, how that was really hampering even air resources to kind of do water drops on that fire. Now, today we're going to be looking at lighter winds in our forecast area. Granted, temperatures are going to be a few degrees warmer, but it's not going to be really a concern. We still need to practice that fire safety, but at least we're not going to have those winds blowing fires about if one was to get started. Now, I will say that as we get towards the end of the week, we are going to be looking at a significant warm-up. Always bad when it comes to fire danger. We'll talk about that warm-up through the next 7 days coming up.
Thanks, Jefferson. The time now is 5:09. Coming up on KEPR KIMA this morning, that 5.5-hour meeting by the Yakima City Council to fill the city manager gap. That's been filled by an interim for the last 5.5 months. We don't know who they are, but we do know 3 have made it to the final stage. And in about 2 minutes, we'll set the stage heading into the final interviews. But later in the show, national news. A small plane in Massachusetts crashed carrying an unknown number of passengers, or if they have any injuries. It crashed upside down in the river. We'll share all that we know. But there's so much more news to get to this morning. We're just getting started, so don't go anywhere. We won't be. More news and weather ahead.